On this edition, Talking Preps, pleased to be joined by Kendrick Brown, the head coach at Little Elm in Texas. And how are you today, sir?
Doing great, Blair. Just another day in paradise and trying to take it one day at a time, but things are going well.
Excellent. We were talking a little bit beforehand. This is a new time for you because you're not practicing. And here we are mid August. This has got to be weird.
Very weird. As I mentioned earlier, 22 years of coaching. This is the first year where school is going to kick off and football hadn't officially started. So usually this time of the year, man, all of your coaches, assistant coaches, everybody is scrambling to get ready for school. Everybody's getting ready for that practice in the afternoon and mornings. And right now, our coaches, everybody in the building can just focus on getting going and providing a safe atmosphere for all of our students that'll be showing up here on Tuesday.
And what are some of the protocols that you've got in place to make it as safe as possible?
Well, just a few prior to stepping on the call, we were just in the locker rooms, and we've got three locker rooms designated for all of our football teams, our freshman JV varsity. Kind of what we're doing now is a little bit unique setup, and we're kind of dividing those locker rooms up to where we have freshman kids in all locker rooms, JV kids in two of the locker rooms, and we've got our varsity kids in two of the locker rooms. We're hoping by doing that and following protocols is that now when kids come in the locker rooms that they won't be next to each other. We'll be able to put fewer kids in a locker room at one time. So that's what we're trying to accomplish today.
When is the official start date for you to be able to practice as a team and not just do conditioning?
Tuesday, September 7th is our first day to where we can that's all of class 5A 6A in the state of Texas can get started on September the 7th. So we'll start school on Tuesday. So we roughly have about right at 2 weeks to kind of get ready for that first practice.
That seems awful quick. You got a scrimmage coming up on the 17th. The first game's on the 25th. So it's calm now, but it's going to come in awful quick. Is it a good thing to have kind of this slow time to build up to it? Or
Yeah, well, that old saying is quiet before the storm. So it's getting ready to, and it's already kind of building. Kids are kind of sensing that it's around the corner. There is that normal sense of that you would have around this time. If you would look at it from a normal standpoint, we would be around we're just finishing the Fourth of July weekend, and we're looking at about 3 weeks to the start of the season. So you look at where would you be if it was normal during that time, and we're just trying to work forward from that standpoint. So it's a critical time, and it's a critical time because kids were out all the way from spring break until June. So everybody's trying to play catch up. We're trying to play catch up, get our kids conditioned, get our kids in shape. We're trying to teach schemes. We're trying to familiarize coaches with schemes and get in a groove. So I think everybody right now, man, it's just let's just try to get a little bit better each and every day when we step out on the field for strength and conditioning.
in addition to all that strength and conditioning and everything else, I'm sure the message of protocols, social distancing, doing everything you can to protect yourself. Do you go over that daily or once a week, or how do you approach that as well?
Well, in a staff meeting yesterday with coaches, one of the things I talked about was this upcoming season. Man, we're going to have two opponents every week from the day we start. We'll have two opponents. We'll have who we're playing that particular week, which is going to be always it's a great task to game plan and put things to prepare for your opponent. Your second opponent that you're going to have to deal with that we haven't had to deal with before is going to be the COVID-19. That's going to be an opponent, and that's going to be an opponent we're going to have every week. And so what I mean by that is the opponent, how we put things in place for safety protocols. I think you're going to see things from one week to the next. This didn't work well safety wise, so we're going to do this. So each week, we're going to have separate meetings that's geared toward safety and keeping our kids safe and educating our kids on what that means to stay safe. So two opponents this week, two opponents every week, and that's going to be the challenge as we play football or try to attempt to play football this season.
I love that analogy, and the tough thing is the one opponent there's no film of, so you're just totally going on the fly
No,
with that. What's been the
no, you can't.
yeah?
Go ahead. I'm sorry.
No, that's fine. What's been the biggest adjustment in all this from a coaching standpoint, having everything moved around and changed?
I think it's from a football perspective, everything that we do is comes number one from a physicality standpoint. What you do in the weight room, you want to be physical at the point of attack. When you're outside conditioning, you want a mentally tough, physically prepared football team that's in shape. And so a lot of those drills that require physicality, you've kind of got to rethink those as of now because of the guidelines and your distancing that you have to practice each and every day. So it's been an adjustment for us because we do play a very physical. It's a physical demanding sport that we play, and I tell people this all the time. It's no way, but we've got to figure out how to do it. We've got to be able to pull this off, playing the sport of football with all of the demands that come along with social distancing. So that's going to be a challenge. The thing that I think is there, if there is one good thing about it, every program that we play, everybody is having to adapt and adhere to the protocols needed to be safe playing football this season.
Is it safe to say that in some regards there's no safer place for a student to be than in a school athletic facility right now because of the protocols that are in place to protect them? That might be the safest place they can be.
I think that's accurate. I think that's very accurate. One of my biggest concerns is not, and it is a big concern week to week, day to day during the week. But when you approach the weekend and those kids are now able to get out of the norm and they're able to go visit friends, family, and the family is traveling. Uh, that's my biggest concern is the contact or who they're going to come in contact with when they're outside of school. Because usually when you look at students and coaches, when it's school is in session Monday through Friday, it's go to school, come home, then they go to bed, they get up, they go to school, and they repeat that process. So I think we should be safe during the week. I think we've got to be very upfront with our kids and our parents and educate them on being smart on weekends. You look at University of Oklahoma. One of the things that popped up here recently was they had a break and kids were able to go home and you see there's an outbreak there. So that's going to be our biggest deal is making sure from weekend to weekend as well that we keep our kids and that they stay safe and that they're honest with us about where they've been and who they've been around and things of that nature.
And along those lines, everybody's worried about the safety of the players, understandably. But the coaches as well. Coaches have families that they're going home
Yeah.
to, and they're
Yes.
also at risk. It's easily forgotten. Do you worry about that from a perspective of your family, who you've got to protect as well?
Every day, I've got. I have a daughter, my youngest daughter. Man, she tells me all the time, "Daddy, put your mask on. Daddy, it's below your nose. Pull it all the way up." And even with me being a head coach, you're always giving it out information. You're always communicating with people, and so communication with that mask on is not the most comfortable thing to do. But man, when you get home every day and you've got a family, many of our coaches, really all of our coaches, have families that they go home to each and every day. So the message every day, even when I send out information to our coaches about practice, a lot of it is making sure that they are, and we are, I am adhering to the guidelines, and I'm practicing what I'm preaching to the kids just as well. Because if they see coaches, the same deal. They see us not doing and practicing, then they're going to repeat that process. So we have to be the trendsetters when it comes to that, meaning coaches. But it is a difficult thing to adjust to. I mentioned to you 22 years of routines and systems. None of those years, 21 years, none of those included wearing a mask or doing any of this stuff. So it is different. And I find myself all the time breaking the rules. And I'll admit to that. But it's something that you constantly got to be reminded. I tell coaches, players, if you see me not wearing a mask, coach, get your mask. Man, let me know too. So we all need help when it comes to that.
I was going to say, this year is just unlike anything. There's a lot of coaching manuals, there's coaching clinics, but there was nothing really to prepare anybody for this. And along those lines, one of the great things about football is it has so many life lessons. Boy, there are some life lessons this year that maybe hadn't been taught before that are being taught this year. Is that fair to say?
It's very fair to say when football season ends every year, as coaches, we get in the war room. We look at things that we can do to get better, and we look at clinics who we want to go visit with that is have been successful doing something that maybe we're doing, and we go and travel and visit with those individuals, and we do that from college teams to high school teams. Now that we're in this uncharted territory with COVID, there isn't anyone that has the blueprint. So that's why one of my favorite sayings in coaching is that really, in being a head coach, a lot of things you don't know till you know. And really, that saying has really resonated and become very true during COVID. Man, a lot of things you don't know till you know. And each day you're making notes and you're making adjustments. And I'll say this: football is a game of adjustments. In-game adjustments on the field got to happen very quickly. It's same way with dealing with COVID-19 and protecting kids and coaches. Man, adjustments. When you see something, we've got to come in and we've got to make adjustments the next day very quickly for safety reasons. So there are some parallels there, but we've got to make sure that we don't overemphasize the football aspect and neglect safety, and so that's very important there. But yes, that's true.
Well, Coach, I appreciate the time very much. I know this is a trying time for you and all the coaches down in Texas and everywhere, and we do appreciate everything you do for student athletes. And we would love to catch up with you once practices start and see how it's going and how the adjustments and everything as you get ready to play football this fall.
Let's do that, and let's keep everybody safe. And it'd be great to be talking mid-season or late season about how things are going, and that's what we're hoping to do.
Awesome. We love talking Lobo football, and we look forward to doing it again soon. Thank you so much for your time.
Thank you, and appreciate you.
You bet.